Kerry Tollefson for the calls of these high-performance races that are coming your way in short order. But we have two 5,000-meter races to cover before we reach that point of the program. 15 women scheduled to race this 5,000-meter distance. 15:45 is the requested pace for the green lights. And there's going to be a second set of lights, which will be pacing at 16:40, and they will appear in the red. Bryn Brown of North Carolina leads the group on the outside, and her teammate O'Shea is on the inside. So North Carolina delivering some of their distance talent to these last few long-distance races before the main program at the ASICS Sound Invite. And we'll settle in for 25 laps. Daniela Scheffler is going to lead this group in the early going. Scheffler, another talented former high school athlete, getting a chance to go toe-to-toe here with the bulk of the North Carolina squad. Scheffler running for NC State in the fall in cross country and running unattached here on this track today in Winston-Salem. That is Reese Dalton, sophomore from North Carolina, now with the lead. 600 meters complete that last lap, a little quicker than the last, 37:49. Then it's Scheffler, Bethany Mahalik of NC State, Bryn Brown of North Carolina, and then O'Shea of North Carolina, and Brooke Rauber of NC State. A lot of familiar names if you've followed high school track and field over the last several seasons on display here. Reminder, up in New York City tonight, the opening stop on the four-leg tour that is the circuit, as they have some of the top high school talent in the nation descending on the Armory in New York. The high voltage races coming during this ASICS Sound invite, but also a reminder for those of you who subscribe, all the races almost instantaneously available on demand. So it's Dalton still on those lights, as we've got, again, two groups with two different pace lights. That second group you see in the background sitting on that 16:40 pace. First kilometer for the lead group, 3:09.77. As it remains Scheffler and Mahalik and Bryn Brown. .3:48.16 at 1,200 meters. And now about a quarter of the way through the race. Maybe a little separation now happening in the back. of this lead group, racing at that 15:45 pace. As we now have 7 women in that lead group through 1,400 meters. Men's 5,000 will follow. And we'll have our preview show for the sound invite. And they get cranking on some of the best talent we've ever seen here at the JDL Fast Track. They've had a long history of bringing top talent here. Camel Invite has always been a high point on the schedule, but investing in this 200-meter oval has really changed the game for the team here at the JDL Fast Track, and they have brought together arguably their deepest and best fields. And the crowds should be here in full force, hoping to witness certainly a number of facility records going down, but perhaps some history being made on the global level as well. We'll see how that plays out. We'll also see how this race plays out through the next 3,200 meters as they came through 1,800 meters in 5:41.25. Reese Dalton continues to click off the laps as the leader with Scheffler, Mahalik, Brown, Rauber, O'Shea, and Bickerstaff. Reese Dalton's day is done. She was pacing this group, so we're down to 6, and Scheffler now takes ownership of the lead. Mahalik behind her. And then Brown, Rauber, O'Shea, and Bickerstaff. And the gap now a good 7-8 seconds back to Alyssa Hendricks of High Point. So 3:10.14 through 1K, and then they ran slightly faster on the second K, maybe like 3:09, 6:57.90 was the official time. Check that, 6:19.53 as they just posted 2,200 meters at 6:57.90. As they'll come to 2,400 meters here, so nearing the halfway point of this women's 5,000. Those lights slightly ahead of the field now. And Bethany Mahalik has decided to move herself into the lead. Bryn Brown of North Carolina, the senior, happily steps into second as we get some movement here. Brooke Rauber into third. And O'Shea also moving up. Looks like 7:55 at 2,500 meters. Mahalik, Scheffler, 1 and 2 through 2,600 meters. "12 laps to go, second half of the race, and we're down to 5 at the front." Bradley Bickerstaff of NC State falling off the back. A little bit of traffic now for the leaders to negotiate. And at 2,800 meters, 8:50.67, a last lap of 37.96. Mahalik, Brown, Rauber, O'Shea, and Scheffler. Ten to go. No change to the order coming off the turn. Still within a few strides of those pace lights. Again, pacing at 15:45. .38.40 as they've slowed down the last 3 consecutive laps. And Brooke Rauber is now going to take the lead from her teammate Mahalik as she tries to insert a little bit of pace and does so by going through the last 200 meters in 37.72. 8 laps left. And Rauber trying to open this up just a little bit. North Carolina's tandem, Bryn Brown and Sierra O'Shea, trying to cover that gap along with Mahalik. But Rauber commits pretty early to this. She's getting back to the lights as she's through 3,600 meters. As we saw Daniela Scheffler step off the track. And Rauber really with good turnover as she continues to stay connected to those lights. Again, 15:45 pace for Rauber. And here is Rauber as she comes to the line. 6 laps to go. Brown in second. And then O'Shea and Mahalik. This is 4K as Rauber has the advantage, 12:36.18. The lead's up over 2 seconds. 37:43 on the last lap. O'Shea, Brown, and Mahalik. That trio trying to chase her down. But this has been a long, slow burn for Brooke Rauber as she took the lead at 3K. And now trying to do this as a solo effort. Does have some folks in front of her she can key in on and try to get around and maneuver and try to continue to create some separation here. Lead is about 2.5 seconds. As O'Shea is now in second. A lot of traffic here that includes some UNC singlets. But Rauber staying with the lights, staying with the lead. 3 laps to go. As she slowed down a little bit on that last lap. 38.10, but so too did O'Shea, Brown, and Mahalik. Rauber beginning to open up that lead a little bit more. 3.5 seconds through 4,600 meters. Lap and a half to go. (15:50.09) is her lifetime best that she set back as a junior in high school. And 15:07.18 at the bell. Mahalik, her teammate, in second ahead of Bryn Brown. But Brooke Rauber over the last 2K, impressive move to the lead and still has something left in the tank. She's going to break her personal best and take the victory in this 5,000 meters. 15:41.11, number 27 on the D1 descending order list. Bryn Brown second in 15:45.31, and Mahalik third in 15:45.85.